Hi, I'm Meteorologist Kris Kuyper, and let's take a moment to talk about our water situation here in California, where we've been, where we are now, and especially where we're going this upcoming winter, because it looks like next winter could be an El Nino winter for us. But does that mean heavy rain in California? Not always. First off, how are we doing? Really a situation of missed opportunities. Started out so wet in the fall months here in California, and then after New Year's, the rain basically stopped. We've had about one big storm system for us. We're still sitting around normal, which is still a good thing for us, but boy, it could have been so much more if that rain just would have kept going. A little more good news here is that the reservoirs in California, they are doing great. Most reservoirs are either at or above where they should be for this time of the year, including the big ones, the ones that are all above 2 million acre feet, like Shasta Lake and Lake Oroville, New Melones, Don Pedro, San Luis as well, all at or above normal for this time of the year. That's always fantastic to see. Now, as far as our snowpack goes, well, the reason those reservoirs are all filled up is because they're all full of the snowpack. It's been so warm out here in California, the snow melt has started early, and now there's not much left in the snowpack, unfortunately. Statewide, only 22% of average for this time of the year. The northern Sierra Nevada, only 7% of where it should be, snow water equivalent for this time of the year. So there's not much additional help coming from Mother Nature in the way of a snow melt to help fill up those reservoirs. Okay, so that's where we are. Where are we going as far as next winter goes? Well, now long-range climate models are suggesting that next winter could be an El Nino winter. We look at a little map here, a little graphic here. This little line is the neutral line, if you will, and if you're below that, you're below normal as far as water temperature in the Pacific Ocean. That's La Nina, and that's where we are right now. Now, computer models are taking us into the positive range here above, say 1 or even 1.5, maybe even 2 degrees above normal Celsius for the water temperature in the Pacific, and that would put us in an El Nino situation as we get into this upcoming winter, which is fantastic news, right? We look at a few past situations here. And how have we done with past El Ninos? A lot of us in California remember the 1982-83 El Nino, which just absolutely soaked the state with rain. We remember the 1997 and 98 El Nino. Again, same situation. Very strong one, and it absolutely soaked the state of California. This is another little way of looking at the El Ninos that we've had here in the past 30 years or so. And as you get to the water temperature above normal, right here, 1997-98, that's almost 2.5 degrees above normal. That's that seasonal reversal of the water temperatures there in the equatorial Pacific. That's the El Nino, and when you get that warm water there off the coast of South America, that oftentimes leads to a lot of rain in California, and that's what happened back in 1997-98. But what happened after that? The last strong El Nino we had was not the 1997-98 one. There's been one other. Back in 2015, 2016. Do you remember that very strong El Nino? You probably don't, because it was a bust. It didn't really do very much for us. Let's take a look now at the rain that we got out of the 1997-98 El Nino, which was a gangbusters El Nino. Boy, we got soaked with rain. You look at this map here, and it shows how much rain we got compared to average. And the green numbers are 150 to 170 or 170 to 200% of normal as far as rain goes. And look at California, Nevada, Arizona, just got absolutely soaked back in 1997 and 98. That 2015-2016 El Nino was just about as strong, and it didn't produce. It was much drier. In fact, we were below normal as far as the rain goes across Southern California. A little bit of Northern California ended up above normal. But again, look at the numbers here from that 2015-2016 El Nino. About 2.3 as far as the temperature above normal. Very similar to the 1997-98 El Nino. But it didn't produce. Now, one of the big reasons, one of the theories on that is that there was a big blob, what they call, of warm water off the coastline of in the North Pacific there. This is back in 2014, showing unusually warm water up here. Normally, you get that warm water down off the coast of South America. We had that, but we had a second additional blob of warm water. This one here off the coastline of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. And the thought is that with this blob of warm water here, it neutralized all the temperature difference out. So there wasn't a big temperature difference for El Nino to work with here and to really supercharge those storm systems in the wintertime for us. And so we just got kind of a bleh winter. Unfortunately, that blob looks like it's returned. We look at some of the water temperatures off the coastline of the Pacific Northwest, much above normal for this time of the year. Very similar to the situation we had back developing in 2014, 2015, and 2016, which ended up with a kind of a meh El Nino. And unfortunately, I kind of see that similar situation developing. I believe there's a term for it called the El Nino Madoki, and it looks like we may very well be setting up in that situation. Regardless, one thing to take away with this is that not all El Ninos guarantee us heavy rains. We have had dry El Ninos before, and it very well could be the case that this upcoming El Nino could actually be a dry El Nino instead of a wet one for us.